Social media companies get even lower scores in terms of reputation. Elon Musk muses about developing his own competitor to ChatGPT. And why would Alibaba get rid of what seemed to be a highly successful cloud offering? These top tech news stories and more for Thursday, May the 25th. I'm your host, Jim Love, CIO of IT World Canada and Tech News Day in the U.S. A recent Axios poll showed that of 100 leading brands, tech companies occupied both ends of the spectrum in the highest and the lowest scores. Those tech companies with product offerings were among the most highly rated brands, while social media companies have lost ground and are at the very bottom of the list. In fact, the lowest marks in terms of reputation for tech companies went to TikTok at 94th place in the list, and Meta at 97th place in the list, and Twitter at 98th. No social media platform rated higher than number 94 out of the 100 companies scored, and that put these companies in the same scoring levels as Fox, the Trump Organization, and the failed crypto exchange FTX. Meta was the company least trusted by women, with only 1 in 5 giving it a high trust rating. Young adult responses were even worse. Meta was the second least trusted brand by Gen Z. The only company scoring lower than this was the Trump Organization. Clearly, Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter had some impact. Twitter's reputation score was in freefall. It moved down the scale 50 places from number 12 last year to number 62 this year. Ouch. No other company moved more than 22 places on the list. Curiously, age had a different impact on the scores for TikTok. Boomers gave it a much higher rating, almost 20 points ahead of the much younger Gen Z. The tech companies with the highest scores on this Axios-Harris reputation scale were Samsung at 81, Amazon at 80, Apple 80. These companies stayed roughly where they were the year before. Sony was at 79, Microsoft at 79, and LG at 78, also in the top 20. Google was caught somewhere in between. It was 35th on the list, almost in the middle. And another interesting fact, none of the companies that did huge layoffs this year, other than Twitter, saw any real change in their score that could be attributed to layoffs. We have a link to the full study and its methodology in the text version of this at itworldcanada.com/podcasts. A study by Ernst & Young found that 94% of tech leaders are committed to making new investments in new tools and technologies. In fact, 81% said their company plans to make an innovation-related acquisition in the next 6 months. Those findings seem remarkable given the level of economic uncertainty with the retrenchment and cost-cutting of major tech companies, the failures of regional banks, inflation, rising interest rates. In the no big surprise category, the study found that cybersecurity investments were necessary to weather the current geopolitical storms. And are you sitting down? AI is also a huge part of their planned investments. In fact, 90% of the tech leaders said their companies are working on generative AI functionality similar to ChatGPT, and 80% said they would increase their investment in the coming year, with more than half of them looking to use AI to gain cost efficiencies. But the study did have some surprises. 78% of those polled thought that remote work positively impacted their company's innovation goals. And just to recap the major findings in terms of relative priorities, according to the study, among those planning to increase technology investments, 74% have a priority for cybersecurity, 62% big data or analytics, 62% mention next-generation 5G wireless technologies, 58% plan to invest in generative AI solutions. And although it was last, and we thought it had faded from attention, more than half, 52%, said they plan to invest in metaverse technologies. Alibaba surprised the market with its announcement that it's going to spin off its $12 billion cloud business. Alibaba Cloud has been a real success story. Its rapid growth was putting it in a league with its American equivalent, Amazon, and most industry watchers expected that it would have the same growth and impact on the company as AWS has had for Amazon. Alibaba had invested billions in the cloud offering and was the clear leader in terms of Chinese companies, surpassing its large rivals Tencent and Baidu. The announcement is a good deal for current shareholders who will receive stock in the spin-off cloud offering, but it's not great news for Alibaba. The announcement caused an initial drop in Alibaba's stock price of about 6%. So why break up the company after all that investment and with that kind of success? The best answer is that the company yielded to pressure from the Chinese government, who were growing suspicious of a private company holding and controlling that much data. The company has been reprimanded for its role in a major data leak last year and had been facing real pressures from Huawei and state-run China Mobile, who seem to be the favored alternatives of the Chinese government. And returning to our discussion on reputations, Elon Musk has been making noises about developing an artificial intelligence offering to compete with OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google. Musk was an original founder of OpenAI and never ceases to tell people that. He's less clear about why he left the company. But as OpenAI and Microsoft have become more and more dominant in this space, Musk has become more and more protective of Twitter data and more vocal in his criticisms and warnings about AI, in particular OpenAI. He's taken his campaign on a media tour of sorts, appearing on Fox, the BBC, and even MSNBC. Musk has been sounding the alarm, saying, although AI can have real benefits, there's a not zero chance of AI going Terminator. Musk isn't the only one to warn of the potential dangers of AI. Sam Altman last week proposed that an international agency should be created to inspect and even license those building systems like OpenAI's GPT-4 and more advanced versions that are yet to come. Altman and his other co-founders acknowledge that it's conceivable that AI will exceed human abilities over the next decade. Sundar Pichai from Google agrees with Altman, stating in another article in the Financial Times, "I still believe AI is too important not to regulate and too important not to regulate well." Which brings us to a thought experiment, just based on what we've seen to date. Who has the better chance of developing an AI that turns into the Terminator? Show of hands. Sam Altman from OpenAI or Elon Musk? Yeah. Me too. That's the top tech news for today. We go to air with a daily newscast 5 days a week, as well as a special weekend interview with an expert on topics relevant to today's tech news. Follow #trending on Google, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can even get us on your Alexa or Google smart speaker. And you can even find us on YouTube now, only we're called Tech News Day. We love your comments. You can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or on Mastodon as @TheRealJimLove, and our Mastodon site is technews.social. Or if that's too much, just leave a comment under the text version at itworldcanada.com/podcasts, and you can find all of the links in those text versions. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a thrilling Thursday.